Hi everyone, I'm Denise Lafranzo-Hinaga and I'm your host of Campus Convos. Joining us this month, we are talking with Carmona and Becky Corran. We are here to talk about equity here at DACC. So one of the first questions that some may have is, what is equity?
That's a very complicated answer, but then it could also be pretty simple. And so equity really looks at systems, and it's rooted in the idea that currently a lot of our systems are rooted in white supremacy and oppression. And equity is an attempt for us to look at those systems and try and eliminate them, eliminate barriers for folks, and it could be different for different people. And so we really just want to be in a space where we're reviewing our policies, our practices, the ways in which we engage students to eliminate unnecessary barriers so that they have a better experience on our campus. And that also goes for faculty and staff, that we really look at the ways in which our policies and procedures are either intentionally or unintentionally marginalizing folks based on their identities. And so we do look at race, gender, sexual orientation, ability, and so it's a very broad complex, but simply put, it's us looking at eliminating barriers to access educational opportunities and really at the end of the day to be treated humanely.
You know, a lot of this is about inclusivity and making sure that everyone feels that they have an opportunity to have access to higher education. Why is that important? Why does that matter here at DACC?
Well, I think one of the best things about DACC is, and all community colleges, is that we are oriented toward welcoming everyone into our system. And so I'm really proud to work at a community college where that's fundamental and built into who we are. But I think that then understanding what that means for everyone, it takes a lot of education for us. We really are learning about what inclusivity looks like, for instance, in the classroom, and how do we make every student feel like they can succeed and give them the space to do so, or within the halls of the institution, how do we make sure that when students come here, they feel safe and supported and able to succeed? And I think that type of inclusivity is part of the community college, but then we still have more to do to make sure that we're all committed to it and making sure that we work really hard to help everyone feel that within this space, and really think critically about the ways that we can build systems that support people and truly make it completely inclusive.
Definitely. And you touched on some of the different policies that we're looking at. Is there anything else that we are doing to ensure that students feel welcomed when they decide that they want to come here?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to, so in the Health Sciences Division, we're really looking at the ways we do admissions policies, the way we set up degree plans, and simply asking the question, what does this policy or practice or procedure, what does it do to actually help students advance? Is it necessary? Which groups are we excluding? And so we've been going through that kind of an analysis. And so in our division, we really think about, is this a loving and caring policy? Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, the president convened an equity working group a couple of years ago, and based on some ideas actually that Becky and some colleagues of hers prior to the pandemic was to create an equity space. And there is a new space that we're going to launch in October, at the end of October, October 30th through November 3rd. We're going to have some activities. And in that space, you have like a meditation and relaxation space for mental health. We're going to have programming around roundtables on equity issues, because as Becky mentioned, we have a lot of different types of areas and discussions. Mm-hmm. So faculty are volunteering to lead roundtables. We have a career closet with clothing, and there will be brand new clothing that we'll be able to just give to students who need it, but also gently used and other donated regular clothing, so students feel like they can come to a safe space and explore questions that they might have around equity issues, but know that there's a resource there. And then of course we have a resource room, a space for them to study, computer area, faculty, fellows will be there. So we're really looking forward to that, is trying to create a sense of belonging so that students know that they can go to this one space if they're having a hard time, and they can find folks who are aligned in the belief that we want to create a safe space for everyone.
This is wonderful. So is there anything else that you feel like students need to know? A student comes to you and says, you know what, I'm not really sure that I fit in. I'm feeling a little bit out there. Is there anything, any tips or any advice that you would give to them?
You know, I think really we are working really hard to say you belong here, you know, in the classroom, wherever that is. And I think a lot of the things that we have going on, we have so many resources for students. If we think about the institution as a whole, we have a lot of support for students who are struggling, both academically or in other domains of their life, including things like the tutoring center or also the food bank. And I think we have a pretty holistic approach to how we welcome those students and say you belong here. And now I think we really have a lot of resources that we can offer. And so I think one part of this is when students come to us and ask, you know, I'm not sure how I belong, it's really important that we are able to have that conversation and say, what's going on with you, and feel empowered and able to support the students in the best ways they can, whether we're faculty or staff, knowing the resources and often taking students to the resources to support them is really important. And I think many of us, that's important to our mission. That's why we're at the community college. And so it fits really well with that orientation that we have.
Every day DACC is just doing more and more and better things that just impact the lives of everyone. Ladies, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this, and looking forward to everything that the future holds for us.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
And thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Campus Convos. We will see you again here next month.